All right, guys, so we're here at 3149. We're still in the demo phase. As you can see, we're working on getting a lot of the stuff out, but I wanted to show you some stuff that was kind of cool about the construction of these old homes that you just don't see anymore. So walking in here in the kitchen, you know, you see you've got the floorboards. You know, we use subfloor plywood now. This is the old vent fan, so there would have been a little pull chain on that kicks it out. So that's what was the they would have instead of a hood and a range. So the hardwood floors are everywhere. One thing that's interesting though, so this is a bathroom here, and so what they did in the bathrooms is the flooring was actually in between the joists. So here's the joists right here. So instead of setting the flooring on top of the joist, they recessed it down in, and they did that by using these furring strips. And so if we look up underneath here, this is underneath the master. You can see the furring strips that are actually in between the joists there, and then the boards are laid that way. And so the purpose of that was to actually get the level of the floor down lower, because there was so much thin set that they put in here. In order to get the floors at the same level of the hardwood floor, they had to recess it down below before they started putting in all of the wire and the plaster. And that's another thing that's different about these old houses, is they didn't have sheetrock. They would put this wire down. You see the wire meshes right there, especially at the corners, and then would put the plaster boards over top of them and secure them in with plaster. This is what those plaster boards look like on the back. And then they would put a layer of plaster over top. And so you see how there's a plaster board there, and then even more plaster over top. So looking at the exterior, one thing that's really kind of neat to look at is you see how on the exterior walls they have these diagonal bracing members that are put in. And that's because this black stuff here, this is not really structural like when we put plywood or OSB on the outside of a house. And so this is what it looks like. You can see a piece of it here where part of it had to be removed for this pipe, but it's just this fibrous board. It's also fire retardant. And here's the interior of the brick siding. And so, you know, on the outside, obviously it's finished, but this is what it looks like on the inside. All the old cast iron pipe, lifetime of that's about 75 years. So in this job here, it's all being replaced. When you look up here, you can see the cross members that keep the braces from, keep the joists from falling side to side. You can also see how the floorboards are transverse coming across this way, because they're set below the joists with those furring members there, again, so that they could match the level of the floor with the hardwood floors. Something else that's kind of cool, when we look upstairs, we kind of look and see how the attic was built. So first off, this is, so new houses now all have the pre-hung trusses, and so this is the old stick-built style. You can see that there. One thing else I thought was really cool was when you look at these boards that they used for the attic floor, they're these rough cut boards. You just can't even get them anymore. Essentially, you know, unsanded. Some of the boards still have bark on them. Look at that. And those boards still have bark on them. You know, people take these out to use for reclaimed now. Back then they were used for the cheapest part of the construction project. You know, all this demo, you know, generates all the wire from the bathroom where all the tile and stuff was taken out. So you can see here again, when you look at the level, how the boards, and when you look underneath here, you know, the floorboards are set below the level of the joist, and then that way they're able to match the hardwood floors, which you can see here. And then these have carpet over them. Again, that was a carpet over the hardwood floors. It was pretty commonly done in the 70s in these old renos, when carpet became more popular. Now we've gone back to hardwood floors, so like in many renovations, we're pulling up the carpet and then we'll just refinish the hardwood floors underneath them. So pretty cool stuff that's seen in these old houses that you just don't see in modern ones. So here we are in the living room. A couple of other things that are cool. When you look up, you see how some of the floorboards are gray. And so, you know, some are gray and then some aren't. And you see the drip marks going down right there. And that's because these are the same boards that were used to pour the foundation. They would take these boards, pour the foundation with them, and then they would end up getting put in the house. And so that's why they've got concrete on them and the drip marks from where the concrete was poured. So you look at the front of the fireplace here, and the brick here, you know, this is unfinished. This was never intended to be seen. You know, they never had exposed bricks. This was never intended to be exposed brick. This was always intended to be covered with something, and so this is unfinished. The mortar is really unfinished. They just wiped it off enough so that they could get some sort of face put on it there.